So, Alex, have you ever heard about NotebookLM?
No, what's that?
For any of you who don't know, I'm someone who's pretty interested in the whole AI trend going on recently. ChatGPT plus user, I think you are as well, right?
I am, yeah.
People tend to overblow it, think it's this big crazy thing that's going to take over the world in 2 years. I'm a bit of a skeptic as far as how quickly it's going to progress. I think it's a cool tool thus far, but I'm not as high as some other people in terms of the fear about it necessarily. But this new one from Google called NotebookLM, I think is the first time I'm actually pretty scared about it. The purpose of it is basically to be a notebook where you can like put in files, documents, text, whatever you want to kind of take notes on something.
Okay.
But one of the features they have on NotebookLM is to take all of that information and make a short audio snippet, which is a conversation between two people, almost like a radio or a podcast, about the topic that you've put into that notebook. So for this one in particular, all I did was take the transcript of our channel intro video we did a couple months ago where we talked about why we love Star Trek and why we're watching it.
Okay.
Took the transcript of that video, pasted it, and that's all. I didn't put in any of my own opinion or instruction. That's all I did. And this is the conversation that it generated.
All right, so today we're diving into someone's idea of what makes Star Trek great. And, well, you might be surprised by what we found.
Yeah, this isn't your typical, like, what you expect.
Yeah, exactly. These are self-proclaimed movie buffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're watching Star Trek for the first time.
Wow, okay.
And not only that, they're documenting their reactions on YouTube.
I love it.
So we get to see Star Trek through their eyes.
I'm already hooked on this. What is their take?
Well, they're approaching it like total film critics,
Okay.
They're looking at the storytelling, the performances, all the stuff they love to analyze in movies.
That's really interesting because it's such a different lens than a lot of like diehard Trekkies might have.
It is, and that's what makes it so fascinating.
Yeah.
They actually compare Star Trek to the Twilight Zone in space at one point.
Oh, I like that.
Which I thought was so insightful.
It makes sense though when you think about it. Like those classic episodes, they're all about those moral dilemmas and, thought-provoking questions.
Exactly. And these movie buffs, they're picking up on that right away.
So they're not just looking at the spaceships and the phasers.
No, they're digging deeper.
They want the human element.
Yes, the character drama, those relatable struggles, even in the vastness of space.
It's like they're saying you can take us to another galaxy, but just give us those genuine human moments.
They get it, bro. They get it.
What? That is insane. Like, the dude sounds a bit AI, but the woman sounds real. Like,
And
100%
and like
real.
they're kind of interrupting each other, kind of like stepping on each other a
yeah,
little bit.
like a conversation. And, like, they're talking about us, like, I'm just picturing, like, two real people talking about us like this, like it's some groundbreaking thing. Like, these guys are, like...
Yeah, it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
All right.
Whoa, these guys are critiquing film, talking about Star Trek? Holy shit.
All right, let's go on.
That's insane.
It challenges what we think we know about what a Trekkie should enjoy.
Totally. And it reminds us that great storytelling can kind of transcend genre,
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's spaceships or like a period drama. If the characters are compelling and the story is well told, you're going to be hooked.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're all about those human elements, those relatable struggles. But here's where it gets really interesting. They're all about low-stakes episodes, which I was not expecting.
Really?
Yeah, they actually find the smaller, more intimate stories more impressive.
Huh. Interesting.
I know, right? It's like they're saying, don't just throw a galaxy-ending threat at me.
Yeah.
Make me care about these characters.
Yeah. I see that. I mean, sometimes the small, more human stories can be so powerful.
Exactly. And they actually point to a great example from Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Oh, which one?
You remember that episode where Picard and Riker are doing that like super intense battle simulation?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then in the same episode, Data's like really bummed out because he lost a game.
Right. I remember that.
So you'd think the action-packed simulation would be their favorite part, right?
Yeah, totally.
But no, they were way more drawn to Data's emotional journey.
That's so interesting. I mean, I love those action sequences as much as the next person. But when you really think about it, it's Data's story that sticks with you.
Totally. It's like, yeah, it's easy to create drama when the fate of the galaxy is at stake. But to make a simple game feel so significant, that takes real skill.
Absolutely.
Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the hell?
It's funny because, again, All I did was just, on YouTube you can show transcript and copied the transcript of our video where obviously we talked about these things.
So what's the instruction for the AI to give this podcast type description of...
There is no instruction. It just generates it off of whatever you put in here. Thus far, for the most part, they've basically grasped everything that we said in that video, which a lot of people fail to do somehow. But they've perfectly explained what we talked about. With no, they have no human intuition or comprehension, but they just got it. Based off of our words. They can't see our body language in that video or, our tone of voice.
It's just the words.
It's just the words of the transcript of that video.
Only supercomputers can understand us, Josh. We're that complex.
And they're not afraid to call it out either.
It's refreshing.
She's starting to glaze a little bit.
Like, what moments have we overlooked because we were too busy waiting for the next explosion or whatever?
Right. Sometimes those smaller, quieter moments, those are the ones that really get you thinking.
Absolutely. And speaking of finding unexpected depth, these friends aren't just passively watching. They are dissecting each episode like it's nobody's business. They're debating the choices the writers made, even imagining how they would have done things differently.
Oh, I love that. It's like they're treating each episode like a blueprint,
Exactly. Like they're trying to reverse engineer the magic of Star Trek.
And maybe even improve upon it.
Right. Or at least put their own spin on it.
I think it's fantastic. It shows how much they're actually engaging with the material.
It's not just background noise for them.
No way, they're really thinking critically about it.
They even have this one quote where they say, I could take probably my favorite episode of every season of this franchise and pick it apart and think about what I would like to be different.
Wow, that's saying something.
Thank you! Thank you!
Even their favorite episodes aren't safe from their analysis.
But I don't think it's coming from a place of negativity at all.
Oh, definitely not.
If
No,
anything,
it's
it
not.
just shows a deeper level of appreciation.
Thank you!
They're so invested in this world that they can't help but imagine other possibilities.
It's like when you read a book and you just can't help but think, what if this happened instead?
Or you're watching a movie, you're like, no, don't go in there.
Exactly. You're so caught up in it that you feel this personal connection to the story.
And that's the beauty of great storytelling, right? It makes you feel something.
Absolutely. It sparks your curiosity, it makes you think, and it stays with you long after the credits have rolled.
So whether you're a diehard Trekkie or a movie buff, just discovering the final frontier, there's always something new to discover in the Star Trek universe.
That's so true. And you know what? It's not just about Star Trek either.
It's about finding those hidden gems, those unexpected moments of brilliance in any story you encounter.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to dig a little deeper. Ask those what-if questions and see where your curiosity takes you.
Exactly. Who knows? You might even surprise yourself with what you find. So next time you sit down to watch your favorite show or read your favorite book, remember those movie buffs and their unique perspective on Star Trek.
Don't just consume the story, engage with it, challenge it, and most importantly, make it your own.
And that's a wrap on another Deep Dive, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Bro, what the hell? You gave it no instruction at all.
No, so I literally...
Is that just what it does? It just talks about whatever's prompted?
It says summary, and it wrote a little summary of the transcript.
Okay.
So I'm guessing this is basically what it works off of, but as you heard, it uses quotes and things we actually said.
Yeah,
as
verbatim.
Well. So using a video transcript, obviously that's pretty specific to us. We make content, we make videos, that we can put in there, and I felt that channel intro was just an easy, simple one to grab. It's just us talking. I mean, I've read online a little bit, some people would be like, oh, if I want to learn about a topic, I'll just copy and paste the Wikipedia and then they'll just talk about it. And they're all between 5 and 9 minutes. And this is the first time, this is why this freaked me out. I mean, I've been using ChatGPT since it became publicly available a couple years ago. And I've dipped my toe into the waters of other AI, but haven't gotten fully in as some people have, especially on the video and image side. I haven't, but just on the text-based side. And while it's very impressive with some things, overall, a lot of times it just feels like a cool advanced step in technology, but kind of just an interactive encyclopedia, right? Or just an interactive thing. As to where this is the first time I felt like it took what I gave it, which was just our transcript of what we talked about, and acted as if it had some type of comprehension, to where it was adding thoughts, adding things that we didn't say ourselves, but that were the underlying meaning of what we said. And that's what truly kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, that was absolutely nuts. It felt like two genuine people having a conversation, cutting each other off, inflections of tone of what they're talking about. I mean, It does sound a bit ridiculous. Like, they break down Star Trek. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's like, okay, that sounds a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if I had just taken that audio file and just sent that to you and just acted as if it wasn't AI, and I was like, hey, I look at this podcast review or something, it's like, you probably would have believed for the most part.
Yeah, I would have been like, are you fucking kidding me? And then he would have said it's AI, and then I would have been like, oh. But then we're like, that was AI? Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, like, obviously our music at the end of our last couple of seasons of Star Trek have been AI, and a few people haven't caught on to that until they were told, and that's a little bit convincing, but, like, this one really got me, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I use ChatGPT sometimes, mainly, like, if we're doing a discussion, I'll be like, hey, give me the list of these episodes, directors, writers, and then it failed me. Because I'm like, oh, I didn't know Chip Chalmers directed that episode. And you're like, no, he didn't. I'm like, he didn't? And then I checked IMDb and he didn't. I'm like, well, fuck, now I can't trust it. So, but that, you know, NotebookLM, that's what it's called?
Yeah, NotebookLM from Google, and I'm just, I'm still mostly skeptical in terms of the things, you know, other people have predicted about it, right? Like, you know, it's not some Skynet Terminator level threat in my opinion, because AI and I think it's called AGI. It's not taking that leap, but does it have to actually take that leap for you to believe it, or does it just have to make you think that it's taking that leap because of, you know, how good it is with language? It's pretty crazy. So are we cooked?